George, there were quite a few months of frustration in your season, and now you've got 2-3 games on the trot, and you're getting back into the swing of it.
Yeah, it's obviously I had a concussion second game of the season, I think, against Bedford. So yeah, long 4 months out, unfortunately, but able to get back for the last 3 games. So I've come off the bench for the last 3 games, so just trying to shake the rustiness off and get back into the swing of things. Yeah.
In terms of the rehab, I mean, Jared Ellis has just come back from a long-term injury. Now, with the physical stuff, you can, it's a very much a program. But
yeah, exactly.
From your perspective, it's assuming it's kind of like going up maybe a step back, up a couple of steps, but down a couple of steps. Am I right with that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think mentally, it's been the toughest injury I've ever had, because, as you say, if you have, say a hamstring injury, you can. If someone turns around and tells you you've got 4 weeks, you maybe shave a week off by doing your rehab properly. But unfortunately with concussion, you've sort of just got to go by that symptom and how you're feeling after potential sessions. So there was a lot of false summits in terms of thinking that I was getting there and then I'd have a little setback. So mentally it was really tough, but I'm through that now, and I think ultimately it's probably made me hopefully can make me a better player.
In terms of the support you get from the other lads in the dressing room as well, I mean, there must be a lot of, because obviously everybody knows what you can do on a rugby field. So in terms of people wanting you to get back and being supportive.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the I think the whole sort of conversation around it has changed, and maybe 5-6 years ago it wasn't understood, but nowadays all the lads understand that these injuries can take this length of time, and they are slow, and it's just a case of taking the time and letting yourself recover and giving yourself the best chance to recover, and all the other lads understand that. Some of them had concussions, some of them hadn't, so the lads have been really good and just sort of letting me take the time to get back.
And in terms of the medical side of things as well, not just with Dermot and Andy, but John as well, you've got a very experienced medical team to help you along.
Absolutely, and I think that's the biggest thing really, is that the support from the medical team, as well as the sort of backroom staff in terms of Roland and all the coaches, and just sort of letting me know that it will take as long as it takes, and they're not going to try and rush me back or put pressure on me to play when I'm not ready, and they've been fantastic really in terms of letting me take the time I needed to recover, and thankfully we managed to get back in. So.
And finally on this bit, anyway, the supporters, I mean, have they been around the ground, and obviously to see you play again?
Yeah, I think they've been fantastic. Obviously every time I've seen them at a home game or whatever, they've been asking when I'll be back, and the blunt answer has been I don't know, and they've all been fully supportive in that and turning around and saying that you just need to take as long as you take. So to be back now is great, and it's a good feeling to get back out on the pitch and finally have a run around.
Talking rugby now, obviously, Yorkshire Carnegie this week. Given that there was a tricky away trip to Bedford last week, given their form, and then a cup quarter final against Cornish Pirates next weekend, how important is it that all the focus stays very much on Saturday?
Yeah, it's massive. I think we're not the sort of team to turn around and start looking 2-3 weeks ahead. We're very much focused on the next week, and it's going to be a big challenge, because ultimately they've got to fight their own battles in terms of their league position. So they're going to be very dangerous coming down here, because they're going to want to play and they're going to want to try and get a result. And if we're off it mentally, then that will show. So it's a big focus for us to come out and execute what we've said that we're going to do in the week, and go ahead and do that. And that was obviously probably a bit of an issue last week against Bedford, was that our execution was down. So that's going to be a big focus this week.
And Jet's second half comeback could have won the game in the last play of the game, but for that, it was a fantastic bit of defence from Bedford. But then also coming back from double-digit deficits against Scottish and Pirates here. Yeah. How much character does that give everybody? How much confidence does that give you? And almost how much calmness does that give everybody in the second half of the game?
Yeah, it does. And for myself coming on with 30 odd minutes to go, is I didn't feel like we were out of that game at any point, regardless of how many points we are down on the score sheet, and that's a great thing for us to have in our back pocket. The big thing for us now is to kick on and not get ourselves into that position, because a lot of the time those things are our own errors that we contribute to.